Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Third Shift. This is episode 230. I, of course, am your host, your funky leader, the greatest man who's ever lived. It's me, it's Matt. And with me, as always, it's the light bearer, the light bringer, the light bearer bringer, the beast master of Third Shift. It's my buddy Eric. He's across from me. We're going to start the show like we always do. Eric, my good friend, the beast master of Third Shift, how was your week this week?
Hey yo! Hello, boys and girls. I want to tell you all about my week. It's been
never clown voice. It scares me.
It scares the people. It scares them. You know what? Man, you know, it's January still. Guess what that means? Life still is not good, but we're getting there. Uh-huh. It is almost over. It's so close. God, it's so close. I can taste it. Oh, yeah. Man. But, hey, with that being said, who cares? It's all good. You know what? Because this week was a strange week in video game land. I finished up a lot of games, as I told you guys last week. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like, gosh, bless. What do I do now? I was really hankering for an RPG, but I just couldn't really put my hand down on one, you know, really cinch the deal on anyone's. I was like, you know what? Get the Switch downstairs and hook it up there, and you can finish off Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you know, maybe beat that one. Because I've gotten like 40 hours in and haven't never finished it. So I was like, yeah, that'll be a good idea. Or maybe Fire Emblem, which I'm about 30, 40 hours in and haven't finished it. Like, Eric, finish those RPGs, man. You put a lot of time into them. Go finish them. Nah, Brian, I don't feel like doing that right now. I just don't feel like it. So I said, Eric, get on Control. At least do something you're supposed to do. So that's what I did. I threw in Control, got the DLC going, got many hours into that, and then I was like, cool. And I did this for like 2 nights. And then the other day I went, why do I just my brain keeps going, Eric, you gotta play Nier Automata. Eric, you gotta play Nier Automata. And I'm like, why do you keep telling me this? I watched Matt play, you know, a lot of different portions and chunks of it, and it was a great time, and it's amazing. And, you know, I don't know. I've never had like this super urge beforehand where I was like, I gotta play this game. I have to. But for whatever reason, it just got into my head, and I could not shake it. And maybe it's because, of course, Nier Replicant's coming out. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, so maybe it's because of that. I'm interested in that. And I was like, well, I feel bad not playing that one, even though this is Nier Replicants before Nier Automata. It's still a cool game in the Nier universe, and I can be smarter and cooler for having played it and known it.
Yeah.
So anyways, I caved. And I went, you know what, Eric, stop just sitting there and being sad and miserable, and just do it. So I just clickety-clacked. You know, I told Matt a couple times, I think I'm going to play Nier, dude. He's like, yeah, cool, bro. And I said, I think I'm going to play Nier, Matt. Yeah, cool, bro. I'm like, damn it, he's not going to give me his copy. Okay, fine. So I went and bought it myself.
It's a digital copy. I can't give it to you.
Oh, okay. I'm so used to you buying physical, you know, it's your little fancy pants, you know, edition. So it's like, oh, he's probably got some collector's edition. So
I think I got it on super sale for like $10. I was like, this is my excuse to finally play it. That's why I played it. Because I was like, oh, $10, bloop. There you go.
Can't say no to that. Well, I didn't get it for $10, so I wish I had. That'd be really awesome. I think I got it for 30. But still, not bad.
Worth it.
It's good enough. Yeah. And there you go. So I've been playing Nier Automata. I've only got about 2 days worth of gameplay thus far into it. Wow. Mm-hmm. It's a game that is amazing. It's just phenomenal. All the music, the environment, the characters, everything's intriguing. Everything's wonderful. Everything's beautiful. And of course, I have a few spoilers because I watched, you know, several Matt streams throughout him playing it. So I do know some of the twists and a little bit of the story and here and there. But even so, since I have all these gaps and holes in my knowledge of it and what's going to happen and how it goes down and everything, it's still super fun and refreshing and new to me. And then it's just when I see the parts where I watch Matt play, oh, yeah, okay. Now that part makes sense to me instead of just being a really cool thing Matt was doing and I was watching. All right, here we go. So I'm having a totally awesome time with that. And then, as I told you guys, I was playing the Control, doing that DLC. That first one, the Foundation, I'm in that one. And they introduced a new enemy type in that is just so infuriating. It's cool, and I'm glad they threw it in there. But it's one of the crazies with it. He's got a pickaxe now, and he like teleports around. and then he just melees you with that sucker and does heavy damage if he hits you. So you have to make sure you're always on the move and being aware of what's around you, because he'll be in front of you and then he'll teleport and he's right behind you hitting you with that pickaxe. And then on top of that, they throw in the witch ladies, the ones that are all floating around, you can't really see. Then when they appear, they do the sonic scream and just takes like 50 to 75% of your damage if you're not out of that blast radius. It's a terrible combo because you're over here trying to evade all these idiots with their pickaxes, and you just teleport, or you know what I mean by teleport.
You
just
do a little dash
your spaceship right into one of them witches, and she's like, meh! And then all of a sudden, boom, 70% of your health's gone. Pickaxe dude hits you one time, you're dead. Ugh.
I'm glad I didn't play this then.
So those moments, man, I'm like, you guys are killing me. So as I told Matt off air, I said, when you play Foundation, you really have to redo what you're doing instead of just stand, because most of the Control regular, you can just sit there and shoot fools and, blast them up. It's not too big of a deal. There's very few moments where you actually have to be super agile, flying around like a crazy person.
Speaking exactly of that, weren't you Johnny Flyboy last time? How come you're not flying around?
Well, because I was trying to do a different thing this time. I was trying to go tank mode, where I was like, I never used the shield.
I never even got the shield.
I got it and never touched it.
Yeah.
So, and I went, this time, Eric, I'm just going to go in. I'm going to roll in with the shotgun. I'm going to roll in with the shield, and I'm going to boom, 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 and then pull up the shield anytime they go to attack me.
And you went to the one place you couldn't use the combination.
And so, yes, I have reverted back to Flyboy. I just fly around, zip, zap, zappity, doing all sorts of stuff. But I'm like, I wanted to try something a little bit different, but hey, whatever. I enjoyed that build in the first place, so I still enjoy it now. And that's how I'm going to go ahead and finish up Foundation. But, and this is a boon to me, because I was like, oh man, Eric, you got an Nier Automata. You said you were going to finish up this Control DLC. Now you got 2 games you're torn between. Well, it doesn't matter, because guess what? Control Ultimate Edition is coming to PlayStation Plus as a free game come February 2nd. I get all the deal, which I already bought, which is annoying, but we won't talk about that. Oh, well, supporting Remedy. It's fine.
Same, yeah.
You get all the DLCs, and you get the PS5 version of all of it. So you get the ray tracing, you get the upgraded graphics, the no load times, all the dooheads, all the doohickeys. And I'm just rubbing my little hands together, and I'm doing a little jig, do a little dance, because I get to experience those 2 DLCs, well, 1.5 DLCs, in full big-time graphics, big-time go mode. And that's super awesome, because I was super angry before when they're like, oh, if you own Control, you don't get to have the Ultimate Edition, you got to rebuy it. And I'm like, well, that's poo-poo for me. Mm-hmm. Guess what? I get it now, which is super awesome, but it's a little late because I already bought the DLCs thinking I was never going to get it. But oh well. I still get to experience it in the PS5 version, and now that gives me an excuse to wait a week and go ahead and really just go nuts with Nier Automata, and then afterwards finish up Control's DLCs. And before we get to Matt, I'll just simply say, yes, I've been playing some World of Warcraft, as I usually always do. Me and Brian, he's almost finally max level with the new DLC, the new expansion. We will finally be able to go do some dungeons and do some cool stuff together, and get some decent gear. So I'm super stoked for that. I just got to con his butt to get on a few more times and finish it out. And then, of course, con my brother to get back on so we can go do said dungeons and stuff and have a great time, which he will. So it's almost there. And that's exciting because, like I told you all long ago when I did this, I think that'd be fun. Just us 3 having a good time, playing those dungeons, getting some decent gear, nothing excessive, nothing crazy. So it's almost there, boys and girls. It's a good time. What about you, man?
I feel like I haven't played nearly as many video games as I should have this week. Probably because I did work at least one day over the weekend. When you have the one day to yourself, and that's game day. That's what I always do. But I have played a little bit more of The Outer Worlds. Had a stream just a couple days ago on that. I say it all the time. That game is so much fun just for the dialogue options that you get. Like I went, I can't remember the name of the town now, but I went into that town that Sublight runs on Monarch. And some of the dialogue options in there, because it's like this not lawless town, but it's all illegal activity. There's a guy who can sell drugs like right inside the door. His whole side quest was amazing with his little drug running operation with the Sprats, and just him as a character. All his dialogue was awesome. I loved him and hated him at the same time. I loved that I got to punch him in the face. Oh my God. Spoiler alert, I guess. But it's just the dialogue options in that game are so hilarious, even if I don't pick them. And what I was really impressed by in that last stream, you get an option to kind of take over a cannery from this guy who's running it, who turns out to be kind of a horrible guy, but he also kind of provides a living for these people anyway. So you get to decide how you want to take this cannery over. You can either kill the dude, you can like ruin his machinery, or you can poison his livestock. And so I went in there, I was like, I don't know what I want to do because I don't know this guy. I'm trying to sneak around. I found a terminal and poisoned the livestock first. Then I think I screwed up some of the machinery too. Yes, I hacked the auto mechanicals so they killed all the workers. Then I found the dude and he was horrible and I killed him. And I was like, man, I did everything here. It felt good.
You just ruined it completely.
And what was awesome was I went back to the quest giver who told me to pick one of those options to give her control of the cannery. And my only dialogue option to turn in the quest was, good news, I ruined the factory and killed the guy. And I was like, that's amazing. The game is so well written and well put together that if you do all the things, it'll give you a dialogue option that says, yep, I ruined everything. And it was great because her return dialogue was like, well, so you ruined the factory and killed the dude. So when you killed him, it became my factory. Did you ruin that stuff after you killed him? Because then you're ruining my stuff. And I went, oh, it's all clever. It's all coming together. They had an option for you doing all the things and a response from the character other than just going, hey, great, here's your reward. It made sense. It felt like a real conversation with a person, and it matched her personality so well. I love that game. It's so good. The only thing I don't like is that sometimes it feels a little too big. Like I'll pick up all the, it's like a Fallout game, kind of. You pick up all the quests around town, you do them all, and you're like, why am I on this planet in the first place? I got to talk to some guy up a peak. Is that why I got you, the drunken mercenary person on my team, like 4 hours ago? Because you walking through the wilderness, she's like, yeah, it's this way. Go to the right. I'm like, what is?
Who are you? What's going on? What's happening?
I mean, like, I know who you are, but like, why are you here? What are you, where are we going? Checking the quest log. Oh, I gotta go talk to a guy. I kind of don't really remember why, but all the side characters, all the side quests are so much fun that it's just fun to live in that world. And I love doing it on stream too, because it always makes me laugh. There's always something fun to do. I love going around stealing everything and like opening the doors and sneaking in and closing the doors and taking everything that's not nailed down. And then one of your little companions comes and pops the door open and people are coming in now. It's just great. And then getting my speech up, lying to, threatening, intimidating every single person I meet. It's so good to be such an asshole in that game because all those options give you smart alecky, smarmy, like wise ass responses to do all those things. You have so many options and so much fun stuff you can do in that game, even if you're not planning to do it. I went and got this thing to this guy. I'm going to give it to him. But the option is to lie to him and steal it and then goad him into fighting you. And then you can take his cool weapon that he's got. And then when you go back to the person who wanted you to go get the thing and give it to the guy, you can lie to her, get more money from her and more things. Oh, it's so good. It makes me feel good that I can just be a horrible person in game. It's great. Oh, it's wonderful.
Just like in real life, Matt. Just like in real life. It's so wonderful.
In another game, you could be an awesome and awful person into Cyberpunk. And we were doing the Shifter monthly topic, and I was talking about it. I was like, man, I want to play some Cyberpunk, but gosh, those side quests, there's just too many. There's too much stuff to do in that game. Like you've said before, you have an area cleared out, you'll go and do a couple other things, and then I want to open the map, there's more quests that spawned in the area that was totally cleared out before. And it drives me nuts because it's fun, but there's so much to do. When I said that to you, you said, well, man, just beat it, get an ending, and then you can do the like rewind time, to before you did it, and you can do the side quest then. And I went, okay. So I went and I got 2 different endings in the same play session because I did the really easy ending first. I did the more involved ending second. I still haven't really found an ending that I like all that much, but it's beaten. Like I can always say I finished the story of Cyberpunk. When I feel like being a street sweeper, go back and be the god of Night City. It just whenever I feel like it, because that's one of those games like the Outer Worlds where I feel like I'm so good at it now that I can just get away with whatever I want, and it's great, and I love doing it. It's just that there's so much to do of these things that you love. And then today, I started playing a little game called Cyber Shadow that I might tell you guys more about later in the episode. That's called a hook, everybody. Oh my goodness.
Gosh, diggity dog. Mr. Matt's talking about this weird old Cyber Shadow. I don't know what he's talking about. It may be in the, what's the game? What's the new release? I don't know. Some segment we do. I'm totally confused, but let me use my medium powers. Let me see. Speak to the ghosts. You know what I'm saying? They're going to tell me, hey, Eric, you always do this thing. It's called a new release segment. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Thanks, Ghost Man. Got it. All right, well, hey, I'm back. Hey, I used my medium powers. Let me tell you, there's this game called The Medium out, and it's coming out on the Xbox. It's out right now. It's out on PC, Xbox. I really wanted to play it, but I don't have an Xbox, and I'm very sad about that. And if you have the Game Pass Plus bull crap, you get to play it for free. It's right there for you at your fingertips.
I preloaded it a week ago. It was like, hey, you could preload the medium. And I went, this is a game I've never preloaded a game before in my life. Even games I pre-order, I never preload them. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to get one over on Eric. I'm preloading it now. I should have taken a picture and sent it to you.
You should have.
Hey, bro, look what's installing on the console right now. Only 7 more days till I can play it.
Yeah, gosh. So I've been excited about this game. It's developed by a Bloober team, whom I don't really know very well. But hey, whatever. I'm willing to give things a chance. And of course, it is out, as I said, for the Xbox, for PC. And it's a Game Pass Plus game. So if you have that, you get to play it for free. It's released as of January 28th, which is today as we record. When you're listening to this, it'll already be there in the wild for you. And if you don't know, real briefly, we've talked about it before, but I'll say it again. You are Marianne. You're a medium. Surprise. You get to see dead ghosts. They tell you all things. You try to put closure to what's going on with them and send them on to the afterlife, that kind of thing. Well, you've been haunted by this girl in your dreams, etc., just really driving you nuts. So you go to this giant, crazy mansion to try to figure out what the hell's going on. Upon entering, there's all sorts of dead folks inside, and whilst going through here and trying to solve your own issues, you can solve all the issues of these different, dead people, etc., and there's a giant baddie called the Maw who is chasing after you this entire time.
Well, now, Eric, don't spoil too much for me because I'm going to be playing this game pretty soon. Don't spoil everything now. Come on now.
I won't, buddy. Don't you worry. When you play that game, you will not be spoiled. All right? I'm going to just tell you the very big little basics. So, whilst this Maw's chasing you, whilst you're trying to figure out what happened to all these dead people, whilst you're trying to figure out, this little girl ghost and all of her tragicness, what's going on with all that, you, as a medium, get to split. There's a real world, the world you're in, and then there's this really crazy psychedelic world. Think of Silent Hill. And the inspiration comes from Silent Hill because one of the main yahoos on this team worked on Silent Hill games in the past. Definitely a correlation there. So, at times, and this is where I was mistaken because I was looking at reviews, reading a whole bunch of stuff, watching all sorts of gameplay. I thought you'd be able to switch from, the medium world, the weird, crazy world, to the natural world. And that's not the case. It's all story-based. You'll switch when it wants you to switch. Sometimes you'll go fully into that mode. Sometimes it'll be like split screen, vertical or horizontal. And then whilst you're in those modes, there's your typical old school survival horror like puzzles. So, like in the real world, you can go through a door, but in the crazy medium world, it's all blocked off with flesh sticks, etc., and all kinds of weird things, that kind of thing. So in the real world, you'll move through and you'll be able to unlock something over here, which will allow you in the crazy medium world to then climb through the window, get what you need to do, turn the valve, whatever it is, that kind of deal. So it incorporates a lot of that. And whilst all this is going on, like I told you, the Maw is chasing you down, so he's kind of like the nemesis in Resident Evil, so you'll always hit him. He'll come in and blah, 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 it's going crazy, and you got to hide from him, and then wait until he gets out of there. Then you keep going on the way your missions. And then, like I said, there's the echoes and the side ghosts. So there's like these little side missions, and then echoes are like these logs that kind of just reveal the story of what's going on, what happened to all the people in this place. So if you want to get mired in the lore, you can do it, via reading those and paying attention to all that. And from what I hear, because mind you, I haven't played this, the voice acting's phenomenal. All the story's really good. people are saying that it's getting like 7s. It's kind of turning out as 7s. They said there's some issues, how some of the puzzles are real clunky, old school. It feels like a game made years ago type of deal.
That's what you get with these kinds of games. But
that's what my argument was, is I'm like, it's a game paying homage to the Silent Hills, the Alan Wakes, the old school Resident Evils. This is what it's trying to be. It's trying to be like that old school cool game, because it even has fixed camera positions.
Oh, yeah.
So, you'll come into an area and you don't get to just do whatever you want. It's it's showing you an angle that it wants you to have. And yeah, there's sometimes where it gives you a bad take, but it wants you to have that bad take around a corner because it makes you nervous. It gets you all upset. And that's what it's trying to do, is because now you don't see what you need to see. And you're like, great, this is where I'm going to get attacked. I know it. Oh my God. Just get me out of here. It's going for all that. And it's going for them old school puzzles where you got to sit there and go, what's the password? So you're reading through these echo logs, not finding anything. You're trying to look around at the wall, see if there's like numbers scrolled into the, area. That's the type of game it's going for. And I get why some people are like, nah, we've moved on from that. But have we? I mean, can't people enjoy that type of game? Can't we still have that and it be enjoyable and be fun if people found that fun? So some of the reviews I like to argue with, because I'm like, it's a type of game. I mean, nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you don't like it, that's fine. But you shouldn't hit it or knock it because it's not progressive. It's not doing what the newest, like Resident Evil Village, is doing. And it's like, well, it wasn't trying to.
Speaking of which, I saw a little gameplay of somebody going through that demo, and oh man, I want to talk about that because that was cool.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to, after we do the new releases, as I was saying that, I went, oh, we got to talk about that real quick. That's for sure. So anywho, the Medium. To me, it looks fantastic. It's got all your old school, like I told you, Alan Wake, Silent Hill, Resident Evil vibes going on, fixed camera angles. You're going in between the real world and the weird, crazy medium world, which is really reminiscent of the Silent Hill when it would change over. There are spots and the ability to change like fully over for a short period of time into like the medium world, but your powers then drain and then you have to like go back. So you can utilize that to do what you want. Like I said, solve puzzles, try to figure out all the mysteries, and of course escape the mall, which is the crazy bad guy. What's not to love? The environments look fantastic. The music's really spooky and cool. The character, Marianne, she knows what she is, so it's pretty neat that she's like understands she's a medium and doesn't, go nuts whenever she sees ghosts, because that's just what she's done her whole life. I'm super interested. I'm probably going to play it on PC. I hear I can get like the Xbox pass for like $1 for 3 months as a trial version. So I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to play and beat this game for $1. It's going to be the best.
You dirty cheap dog. Oh my God. But you know what? You were talking all about a game that pays homage to the classics, and people are saying, well, we've progressed a little bit since then. I'm going to talk about a game that does that exact same thing. I'm talking about Cyber Shadow, which came out on the 26th, developed by Mechanical Head, published by Yacht Club Games, who are the people who did Shovel Knight, but now they're publishing games, which I think is pretty cool. Now, this is basically a retro throwback to Ninja Gaiden from way back in the 80s. And when I say that, you think, oh man, a modern game is a retro throwback. You think of The Messenger. No, this is different. And I'll explain why in a little bit. But if we jump into the story real quick, you are one of the last surviving ninja from this big famous clan that were active in the city where they were starting to create Reploids or machines, automatons, that kind of thing. A big disaster happened. Now you've woken up. Your name is Shadow. You're one of these last survivors. You've come out of like a life support pod and the whole city's been destroyed. The robots are running amok. You've got to find the members of your clan who are being held by the evil doctor who's siphoning off their powers for some mysterious reason. You got to find them, rescue them, get more powers yourself, be a badass, save the day. So like I said, it's a ninja action game. Side-scrolling action platformer. When I first saw it, I thought of The Messenger myself because I just played that not too long ago. But you know, Eric, because you played it, and I definitely know because I played it and beat it. The Messenger is a lot more about like the traversal of what you're doing, like cool movements and doing slick things. This is more like straight up Ninja Gaiden where there's enemies or projectiles or stuff. I wouldn't say all over the screen, but coming at you fast and you have to deal with those. In just my hour's worth of playing, they're winged bug enemies. You get used to them because they come in at weird angles, so you got to move yourself around so your horizontal slash can get them. And then they start carrying like little eggs. And when they drop the eggs, 2 more little bugs come out and they have, I wouldn't say a very specific pattern, but once you've seen them a few times, you know how to manipulate them so you can get them in areas to kill them. And then they start throwing in environmental hazards in those same areas. Kind of stuff like that. A lot of pattern recognition, dealing with enemies, getting them out of your way, as opposed to the messenger's smooth, flowing traversal and movement. If you liked playing the messenger and you wanted something a little different from that, or you didn't like the Metroidvania way that the messenger ended up going in the last half of the game, this is probably going to be the game for you. Pretty combat focused, and from what I've heard, you can go back through the levels and access sub paths, but you don't have to if you don't want to. And you do that via a little fast travel level select screen. Boop, boop, boop. And then you just run through the level like usual. Some other cool things about it. Obviously, the graphics, they're retro, but the pixel art looks pretty nice. The music, though, is bumping. It sounds so good when I powered it on and popped it in, because this is another Game Pass game. So I got to play it on launch day for free, essentially. Powered it up and I was like, oh yeah, the sound is just it. Scrolling through the menu, it's got that old school, like NES sound. Feels so good, sounds so right. Then just playing through the gameplay, it is nice and tight gameplay, but it does have that throwback element of when you get hit, ooh, you bounce back. So if you get hit on the edge of a platform, ooh, you're dead. But the one good thing about Cyber Shadow here, just like in Shovel Knight, you can unlock checkpoints. So when you die, you go back to that checkpoint. And the other cool thing about those checkpoints is once you get to a certain part of the game, maybe like 30 minutes in, after the first couple of mini bosses, you start collecting this stuff called essence, kind of a currency. When you get to one of those checkpoints, you can pay some of that essence to unlock different abilities in the checkpoint. Get you full health, get your spirit bar maxed out, or drop an item for you to give you a little upgrade. So it's really nice if, you hit a checkpoint, go into, it's a boss room, I died on the boss fight, whoop, came back to the checkpoint. Maybe I'll use some essence to get myself that sword extending item where your slash is a little bit longer because I don't want to get too close to this boss. You can do that kind of stuff. As someone who likes to spend his currency and unlock all the things, it is a little frustrating because I get to one just in the middle of a level and I'm like, man, I got 3 options. I need to spend all my stuff. Oh, but that would use up all my stuff. Hang on. Well, let me see what's after this. And then I go 2, 3, 4, 5 screens and I found another one. And it was nice and easy. I didn't need to. But then sometimes, like I said, it's a really tough boss fight. Maybe it's worth it to up your skills a little bit. Maybe you like using your abilities because each time you find a member of your tribe, they kind of give you some of their literal essence, like their powers. I've unlocked so far like a shuriken, a little pew shuriken that shoots out, and then one that's an upward fireball, like a little whoosh, like yoga flame kind of thing up in the air. And that's one of the few things that I've heard people dislike about this game. The controls are kind of laid out like you're on an NES controller, where you have jump and attack, and then to do specialty things, you press different directions and then attack. So if you're jumping and you're pressing left or right, whichever way, and you press attack, instead of doing your sword slash, it's going to shoot out the shuriken. So sometimes it does a little bit of not what you want it to do, but once you get used to it, you get used to it and you know what you're doing. So I feel like that's a little bit of a nitpick, kind of like what you were talking about with the medium. And same thing with that hit and the knockback. A little irritating, but some of the reviews say, this is what the developer would think would happen if you tried to make Ninja Gaiden now with today's stuff. So it's going to have all that throwback stuff. But from what I've heard, a lot of the abilities you could get and the sub-weapons you can get, really unique, really interesting. In that hour of gameplay I've had, it's been a little tough, but since so many things are based on pattern recognition or knowing what's coming at you, once you've died a couple times and respawned at that checkpoint, you know what you're doing and you can get through it. So far it's not too hard. I've seen some crazy stuff in reveal trailers and reviews. I can't wait to get to that and hopefully be good enough to beat this game too, just like I did with the Messenger. But if you're looking for a retro, side-scrolling action platform, fun time if you miss some original Ninja Gaiden with enemies and projectiles and things all over the place, check out Cyber Shadow. If you got Xbox Game Pass, goddamn, get it for free. There's no reason not to get it.
On a quick side note, before we move on, I gotta say, man, I told you on the text, and I'll tell the people now. I don't know. It's feeling really bad right now. Feeling real bad having chosen the PlayStation 5 over the Xbox. Because every time I turn around, hey, play for free on the Xbox Game Pass. Hey, play for free on the Xbox Game Pass. Hey, play for free on the Xbox Game Pass. And I'm just like, there's a ton of cool games that I would love to play on the Xbox Game Pass. And then I go, what's up, PlayStation? hey, here's all these games that we used to have out over the years that are free for you. Yeah, well, I've played all those because those were all the biggest, coolest games that were on the PlayStation. Oh, that's what we got, though. Well, that's great, but not for me. I've already done all that.
Now, see, I was going to say, well, you'd get the console, but then you'd have to subscribe to the Game Pass.
Yes, I would have just switched it over to the Xbox side of it, and that would have been where I go. I get the Xbox Game Pass. That's my world. Like you said, years down the road in 2025, It's all going to be worth it when I'm playing those PlayStation exclusives that are fantastic and amazing, and I was never going to get to play them otherwise. Whereas I do have a PC that's capable of playing pretty decent games,
True.
So I can still get the Xbox Game Pass and play on the PC if I really, 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 really want to. So
for some things, because some things are console only. Like I opened up my app the other day and I was like, oh, console and PC.
Yeah, but the medium is PC, so I can get that trial deal and I can play it on the PC.
Okay, Howard. Howard, get away with your $1 trials back and forth and back. I see how it is. Here's
the other thing I got to do though, because I went to a used game store, a little local joint, and I said, give me a controller for PC, and of course they give you an Xbox controller. Well, I thought they were going to give me an actual Xbox controller. No, they gave me some third-party Mad Catz controller, and at the time I went, whatever, I just play a few games here and there on the PC, but this controller sucks. God, it sucks. It's so uncomfortable. It hurts my fingers. It's just, I don't know why, but I hate it. I hate it with every fiber of my being. And so I'm like, Eric, you gotta go get a real deal controller, because every time I think about playing a PC, I'm like, that controller sucks. I don't want to play on that thing. So I gotta go spend another freaking $30-$40 and get a decent controller.
I know you're paying, not anytime recently, but when I first got a computer that could play games like, playing Final Fantasy VII and stuff on it, it was this white controller with these purple buttons, and it looked just like a PlayStation controller. It looked just like it. So how could it be a million times worse? I know exactly how this feels. The D-pad was like all squishy. It was horrendous. Yeah.
It cuts into my skin. It just everything. Every angle's wrong. It's a painful, bad controller. And I'm like you said, how is it possible? How can't you just copy what the controller is? Put your little molds together. Have some little freaking moron design your molds just like the molds on the actual real controller, and just mimic it. It's not complicated. This isn't rocket science. But no, we got to change it. Well, let's make it super aggressive and painful and annoying, and a little bit larger so you can't fit your fingers quite around them like you should be able to. Let's make everything just wrong enough that you hate it. Wait a minute. Shouldn't we make it so you love it? No, we shouldn't. Should be the opposite of love. Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
Hey, you know what's the opposite of hate? It's love. And you know what we love? We love one big thing. It's your favorite thing. Come on, buddy.
Well, see, I thought we were going to start talking about Resident Evil. I didn't know we were jumping into this, but it's my favorite thing, favorite part of the show. We got Shift Codes for Golden Keys in Borderlands 2, so hit up the Twitter, the forums, the Instagram. Hit up your preferred Shift Code provider. Get yourself some fantastic loot in a fantastic game. I loves that Borderlands 2. Playing as Gage, playing as Axton, having a great time. You don't even have to do anything. Put the turret out, put Death Trap out, just sit in the corner, talk crap about the people at work with your buddy. That's what you do.
That's the best time. That was always the glorious times right there. That's how you roll. We got to get that going with some Borderlands 3 action. We got to get our characters to the point where the Sentinel and whatever else does everything for us, and we don't have to work.
Yep.
Okay? Because Iron Bear didn't cut it. Because I still had to control Iron Bear, and it wasn't what I needed. I need something that's just going to play the game for me so I can drink more beer and laugh. We got to figure this out. We got to get in there and get our hands dirty.
I think maybe Zane and Flak was the answer, because Mr. Beef would tank everything, and if you got that bubble shield to Zane, we'd just sit inside that with Sentinels zip zapping all around, and we'd just talk crap. I think that was the mistake we made, I think.
But, Iron Bear in my defense seems so much like, Gage and Death Trap.
And you still haven't tried Iron Cub. You gotta play as
Well,
Iron
I can't
Cub.
because, remember, she got deleted again. Unless I go get my old PlayStation 4 back out, try to re-download the download, and try it all over again because everything got deleted. So, for the third time, I'd have to do it again, or otherwise, I don't know. It's a mess. It's just so, games are hard. It's all so complicated anymore. Jeez. Oh my God. But something that ain't complicated, I'll tell you right now. Borderlands the movie, we talked about it before. It's coming. Kate Blanchett's been cast as Lilith, and now Kevin Hart has just been cast as Roland. He's super stoked. He's super excited. Says he can't wait to do it. Eli Roth, who's directing it, said this is going to be the whole different side of Kevin Hart. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fantastic. If you don't know, Kevin Hart is a really cool, funny, awesome comedian. Plays in all sorts of really lighthearted, crazy movies, doing all sorts of shenanigans. And I super enjoy his antics. I really always get a kick out of him being just completely off the wall, ridiculous, whining and crying, being just over the top emotional about everything. I don't know what he's going to do in this because Roland isn't that type of guy. Roland's, more serious, antisocial, big dude, ready to kick ass, take names, kind of type. And Eli Roth said he is in for a whole different role, but there's no way you cast Kevin Hart and not get some comedy.
And to be fair, Borderlands sure can be serious, but Borderlands is known for its humor as well. And even Roland, he was a smart aleck, sarcastic kind of guy. He wasn't just always stone-faced serious. So I feel like Kevin Hart could pull something out, or you could get like some classic Kevin Hart right at the end of the movie after some big serious war thing, and they'd be like, "Whoa, Roland, what's wrong with you?" And be like, "Never mind, off we go."
I think you're right. I think we're going to get a good in-between here. I think Kevin's got the chops. I think he can pull off some serious stuff if he needs to. I don't know. I've heard tell he's been in like a serious movie before, but I don't follow actors. I don't follow movies. I don't care about any of that, really, to be honest with you. But he, I do know him myself from the different comedies and stuff I've watched him in, and I've liked them all. But I think he's got it. I think he can pull off a really cool role in where he's serious and, like you said, sarcastic to be humorous. And then once in a while, let Kevin Hart come out and be a freaking ridiculous, crazy person. But then, boom, sewn it right back in and be on point and take lead of whatever, mission or whatever the hell they're doing and carry on. I have decent hopes for this, When they first announced it, I was like, okay, here we go. Another video game movie. I'll watch it. I watch them all. I don't care if they're bad or good, but, I don't really care either way. But, man, you're starting to get some really good actors and actresses going. You got a pretty good director going. It's shaping up. Things are looking pretty good to me.
Yeah, I agree. Things could look a whole lot worse than what they do right now. We've seen people online saying, "Oh, why is Lilith being classed as like a master thief? Why do we have a comedic actor playing Roland?" But at the same time, for me, I like some of those bad video game movies that diverge from what we've seen a million times. Like, I don't want Borderlands the movie to just be Borderlands 1. I don't want to see that because I've seen it. I want it to be some kind of new spin on it. I saw people saying, "Oh, I'll go in for Handsome Jack. I'll play Handsome Jack." Well, I don't want to see Handsome Jack's story. I saw that. I want to see something new kind of in that Borderlands universe. Maybe if it's not the exact portrayal of the characters, I'm not going to mind. If it's fun, if it's interesting, if it's entertaining, that's what's important to me. You don't have to go on the train tracks. Just give me something cool.
Yep. I'm all for it. Besides that, we won't even see Handsome Jack's story anyway because we're going Borderlands 1, so.
Well, I know. I'm just saying. That was an example.
Okay, gotcha. Just want to clarify, so everybody later is like, excuse me, guys, third shift, they said Borderlands 1. They didn't say Borderlands 2, okay?
Isn't Borderlands 1 the one with Flack and his dog? Isn't that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, Flack's in that. And then Pickles. Pickles is in there, too.
Who even is that character? I didn't play that game. So on top of that movie news, we got some actual Borderlands 3, the game type of news. We got the extra extraction mini event happening in the arms race. You're going to have more extraction slots for each extraction machine, and your airdrops are going to have a better chance at dropping those doll crates to get you some arms race exclusive gear to extract via that extraction machine. Did we even do an airdrop when we did our horrible bastardized run? I don't think we did.
No, we didn't. We didn't get enough gear to do an airdrop. It didn't matter. We had like 5 pieces, I think.
Oh, I think we each got like a legendary though. Like at least by the end, we had something to extract. So come on, we did all right. We did okay for it being glitched out half the time.
We really got to get in and try it again because we didn't give it a fair shake. We said we might get in last week when all the zones weren't closing as fast and all that was going on and didn't do as much damage.
And then work screwed us, so we couldn't do it.
But yeah, it's been miserable. You know, I told everybody before, you all know the deals. January's a bust. It's just too much.
And no, we can't play this one because this is the last time for us to play Battleborn.
I know.
We got to finish those stories and get that PvP, son.
Oh, I'm sorry, Borderlands 3. I'm sorry. It's just too much. It's too much. I can't.
And we couldn't possibly play any more than one time a week. I can't do it. I won't do it.
Trust me, I've tried, people. I've tried. I've texted Matt many times. Hey, Matt.
Come on, man. We play games once. We do one podcast. We got to do shift to multi-topic. We got to do what you're playing. I can't talk to you more than that. I'm burned out. I don't have any other stories. We'd be sitting there just going, hey, man, shoot that guy. Yeah, got him. Frag out.
But see, that's the problem. See, that's where we've gone wrong. Is we're so used to having so much fun and being so ridiculous on our Borderlands nights.
True.
That, guess what? Normal people do play together every day. And normal people don't have to have these 27 conversations every time they play together. They can just play a game together. And we're like, no, man, if I can't tell you like 50 stories and we're laughing and it's ridiculous, we can't play together. It's too much. It's too hard. Can't do it.
In my defense, I do like to listen to a lot of podcasts or like big long YouTube videos when I game. I can't do that with somebody else on the other end. So see, I did nothing wrong. I could never have anything held against me. Woo.
Build the walls. That's what we always say. That's what everybody wants. So with that beautiful event taking place, that is the conclusion. That's it. That's what's been going on in the world of Gearbox, everybody. It's quiet as a mouse. You can't hear anything. What's Randy doing? Nothing. Varnell, you up to something? No way.
Actually, he is.
He is. He's doing a book thing, isn't he?
That's right. He's talking with an author about creating worlds. It's kind of like a panel or a seminar discussion. I don't have the link in front of me or the info. I think it's probably passed by now, but maybe they'll have a VOD where you can sign up and get some tickets for that. Cause I saw that and I went, that's so awesome. But it was at a time that I couldn't possibly do it.
I was in the same boat. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I should follow up with that. And then work. And here we are now. And then you said that and now I remember and I go, yep. So if you're interested, go to Twitter, look up Randy Varnell, check out a few of his posts. It wasn't too long ago and it'll be right there. And Matt was trying to look it up and stall for time, but it's impossible.
I got it. You know why we can't do it. Why we couldn't do it, right?
Why no?
It's because we're doing this show right now. This is why. It's at third shift time. Come on, Randy, you know when third shift time is. Although, wait, before then, we probably recorded it on Wednesday. So, okay, I'll give him a pass. He didn't know.
He didn't know. It's not his fault. It's okay. Go check it out. Take a listen. Take a peek. But I guess what? It's already passed. So, as Matt said, try to find it in a different format because Randy has some really cool ideas. And I don't know about his partner in crime here on this one. But if he's teaming up with her to do some stuff, I'm sure she's pretty cool too. It's worth a shot. Here's something else worth a shot. Getting in that free demo on the PlayStation 5 if you have that particular system and playing The Maiden, which is the free-to-play Resident Evil Village demo. It has nothing to do with Resident Evil Village. It is a standalone little snippet that showcases what the graphics are going to be like, what the gameplay is going to kind of be like, what the atmosphere is going to be like for the upcoming Resident Evil Village title that's coming out. I think it's May, but I could be wrong, folks. Without getting too far ahead of ourselves, the demo's out. Have you played it, Matt? And if you have, what's your thought?
I haven't played it, but I watched Jesse Cox's Scary Game Squad play through it. And while, having commentary and people going back and forth takes away from it a little bit, I was honestly really pleasantly surprised by how creepy and honestly terrifying a lot of it was. Like that intro section when they're in the dungeon and stuff is slowly moving, right? As your gaze goes over here to do this part of the puzzle and then you come back and something has changed in the room. That stuff freaks the hell out of me. At certain points I was like I'm watching the video, but I'm actually looking down here at this cup. Because if it's something really scary is going to happen, I don't want to get scared.
That way you're not scared. You're fine. Now, I, of course, day one, the second that demo was available, I got in it. I was like, oh, Eric's in this. And I'll say this. Here's the time. Here's the moment. I haven't liked Resident Evils since 4. They went away from what made Resident Evil. I didn't like 4, which is complete blasphemy. People say 4 is the best Resident Evil of all time. I say you're stupid and you're wrong, and it's ridiculous. It's not good. It's a terrible game.
It made changes. I will say, I still think I was never a Resident Evil purist. I think Resident Evil 4 is a great game. If you don't like the direction things went, that's a different thing.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't like it. Is because it just said, we're not Resident Evil anymore. Now we're just doing cool random things. Which, hey, that's neat. Change with the world, but you're not Resident Evil. Why did you keep the title Resident Evil when you just went, zombies aren't real? Now we're just mutate monster freakos from, this.
I love how the best Resident Evil of the new generations is the one you had the most problems with. Not like 5 or 6 where stuff just went completely off the rails and ridiculous.
Well, 5 and 6 were just atrocious. So don't even worry about that. Code Veronica was the last good Resident Evil, alright? And I'll put 0 in. 0 was okay. It wasn't the best, but it was at least a Resident Evil in my book. But that's where it ends. All right. So, anywho, we're not going to go on this whole argument about Resident Evils.
Uh-huh.
Let's just say I fell off. 4 was it. 5, 6 came out, didn't it? Whatever. Resident Evil 7 came out. I played the demo, and I was like, oh, this is neat. Still wasn't interested. First person, I'm in a house. It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre all over again. Yeah. It's like, this seems too intense for me, like too much. Just dudes breaking through walls constantly, and I just can't breathe. I can't look for anything or do or explore or do anything.
And I've tried to watch some Resident Evil 7, like AGDQ, when they do the speed runs of it. I'm like, well, I'll watch it. And it's just, like you said, it's just nonstop stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like body gore stuff. I'm like, but it's not scary because it's just all the time in your face. Stuff is just flashing in your face like this. It doesn't do it for me. This demo though, at least that first part of it, whoo doggy.
Yeah, and that's where we're getting to. All right. 7 didn't do it for me. And then I said, all right, whatever. Then this demo hit and I got in there and I said, well, you know me, I gotta give it a shot. I love horror stuff. I love survival horror. It's always been something for me. And it clicked. It just clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, she was in this dungeon, super atmospheric, felt real good. You had the little paper you grabbed and it's like, hey, if you want to escape, here's some clues on what you should do and pay attention to. Mm-hmm. Boom, instantly. Eric's got clues in his brain. Now he's got to think about this, pay attention, finds a little secret, go under the thing. And then like you said, it wasn't like big jump scares. It wasn't nothing like overt and wild. It was just little things. Like you turn around, the corpse would fall from the ceiling. You'd move over here, this thing fell over a little bit. And I won't spoil everything. I don't want to spoil everything. If you haven't played it, go play it. But
like you said, it was a lot of subtle stuff. Like you'd do something in this room, there'd be a body here. You'd go into the next room to check something out, come back and now the body's fallen over and there's a hint behind it. It's just stuff like that, or looking through a crack in a door and you see something go.
Mm-hmm.
I love subtle horror, creepy, like chills crawling up your back type stuff like that.
And then what was really neat too is that the letter itself says, "Don't let them see you." All right. Mm-hmm. So instantly I'm all right. Okay. And then like you said, there was like these little moments where you could see things or something moving somewhere. And so you get up and what's so awesome is I was mildly worried. Of course, the dungeon was super cool, but it was your typical gore fest, like dead bodies and this and that. And I was like, okay, all right, here we go. But no, you get out of there and you enter the castle, and it's just this beautiful, pristine, awesome looking castle. Just everything looks really, really sharp, really nice. Someplace I'd love to go actually see in real life. Mm-hmm. But the weird things are still happening. You see a little flicker, a little movement go up the stairs or whatever, and you're like, oh gosh. And then you remember that note, don't let them see you. Like, well, how do I do that when they're all over the place? Yeah. So now you're scared because you're like, well, am I supposed to try to sneak through there? What am I supposed to do?
They're all over the place. You're trying to sneak every single door. You can't go in. So there's just.
It's pushing you through. You have to look through
It pushes
everything.
You to the most obvious places. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, here, it's over the stairway. Well, maybe I can sneak around. Nope. You gotta go down,
go up and down,
all the way down. This well-lit room.
Yeah.
Having a well-lit room be horrifying. That's worthy of praise in itself, I guess.
Exactly. Because it was super cool. Because it literally set you up for failure. It was instant. Don't let them see you. Here's this giant area that's well-lit, no hiding places, and you have to go through it. Well, what's that mean for me? What's going to happen now?
Yeah.
There's no way they didn't see me. There's no way. I just walked through the middle of the room to get to that dumb door to get to the area where I have to go do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the doom, that feeling of, yeah, I'm screwed. Something bad's coming for me. I didn't listen to the note because the game didn't let me listen to the note.
I couldn't listen to the note. Yeah.
So it was just super neat how they utilized the different little mechanics to make you feel scared, to make you feel unsettling, even though you're in this beautiful castle that looks completely cool and normal, really.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, but you still have that, it's bad news bears coming. And then on top of it, of course, the way it ended, and then I don't know if you saw it, right? And how everything went down. Mm-hmm. Man, it was so cool. You know, I'm running, I'm going to get away, I'm going to do the thing. Wow. And then, of course, they gave you a couple little typical Resident Evil puzzles to solve in between, but that's standard Resident Evil fare. So I won't harp on that a bunch. You do what you do and do look, I'm examine and things turns to a key. Yeah. So you're going to get your Resident Evil, but on top of it, you get some really cool, unique vampires instead of zombies. Mm. And I told you, this is why I didn't like Resident Evils anymore. They went away from what made it Resident Evil, but for whatever reason, this sounds really fun. And this sounds really cool. I'm like, oh man, yeah, vampires, werewolves, and just this craziness going on. I'm all about this. So I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm old and I've finally given up on like Resident Evil as Resident Evil, and it just being a take on something scary and cool. I don't know. I feel different. I feel like I'm on board now. I feel like I'm ready to go with some Resident Evil again. And I don't know if it's just because the demo is that good, or if, like I said, I've just had a change of heart over the years and I'm finally like, all right, whatever.
I think it's probably a little bit of both, but not only is the demo that good, but it's scary in a different way than a lot of Resident Evil was. Cause it's a lot of that subtle stuff like we were talking about that it's going to get you no matter what. Cause you have no choice but to look at your surroundings. And when there's a little something weird in it, it's going to tickle that back of your brain. A lot of scary games are like big and loud and but I love it when it's subtle like this. Like my least favorite part of watching the playthrough was the end where stuff was going down. Cause I was like, okay, this is what I expect. Rawr, in your face, rawr, camera shaking, blood spurting and stuff like that, which was still cool. But that silence and intro and creepy noises and creepy stuff, it's so different from Resident Evil that I think it's its own different beast, I guess. I don't know.
It was just great payoff though, because here, I'm going to spoil it. When you get in that room and you know you're doomed and you're doing all things and you're waiting for the trap. You know, it's like Mousetrap. You're waiting for it. Yeah. And it pays off. It finally comes. And then all of a sudden, I've been watching you. You're like, oh God, I knew you've been watching me. I knew it. I knew I was screwed. And sure enough, you get down and there you go. Bad news bears. But before all that, like a really cool hint that bad news bears was coming. You got that teacup. You lift that teacup up and the lips were like the entirety of a whole side of the teacup. And you're like, that's some big lips. What is going on?
And I will say, I love the way that it ends too. When you get to the door and what I loved was they gave you enough hints to know that you had to go in that room because the note of them freaking out when the window's open. When I was watching that playthrough, they found the window open and went, oh, something bad happened here because we're not supposed to have it open. So when they got attacked, they went, I know exactly where to go because they freak out if they're in here. Boom. Now I'm safe. I'm going to go out this door. Oh no, bad times.
No, she's there. And now you understand who has the larger lips that was drinking the blood from that teacup, which they talk about if you read the memos, talking about how they brew like a virgin like wine there, etc. So you're like, oh man, this ain't good for me. So it all was there. Everything was there. The story was there. Like you said, it set you up to know where you should run if you were going to try to escape. It set you up to know you were in bad shape once you were roaming around that room. And it gave you the payoff of it. A really cool little demo. And the best part was it spoiled nothing of the game. Because as I told you, you're not this character. This has nothing to do with the game itself. You're going to be Ethan in Resident Evil Village. This is just the maiden. And you're just getting a little snippet, a little showcase of what we're going to do to you in Resident Evil Village.
I just really hope that over the course of a full game, they can take you on that roller coaster ride of ups and downs and maybe, even jumping between character viewpoints for, kind of like resets where maybe this character's coming in or you're seeing the other side of the village or whatever's going on from that perspective to kind of set you up. Cause I feel like once you start, paying off on a lot of those, it kind of jades you a little bit. I noticed that when I played Alien Isolation. Once the alien drops down on you a few times, oh, it got me again. It's not as scary. So I hope they can mix it up and keep a lot of this subtle stuff, but pay it off in different ways, or, like in the original Resident Evils, you walk past, no dog jumps through the window. You walk past it a second time, boom, now it's different. Mix it up and keep everybody guessing as opposed to just craziness all the time or not craziness all the time. You know what I'm saying?
And I think Resident Evil can pull it off. Silent Hill, Resident Evil. Those two titles I think have always been really good at making it so you feel safe and then screwing you. And then you're going to get screwed and then you don't get screwed. They've done it time and time again. So I have faith that they'll do it this time. And I'm on board. I'm ready. This is it. This is where I come back. And of course everyone's going to go, well, you need to go play Resident Evil 7 then. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to come in right here, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8, whatever you want to call it, fresh. And we're going to have a good time.
I'm going to need to see a little bit more of the actual game to see if I'm going to have a really good time. Because this demo, I'm all about it, but I love the setting and I love giant women, like super tall women, like 8 feet tall. That's
8 foot. Yeah.
That's 10 out of 10, 100% masterpiece. If I'm just going to like not see giant women, I don't know, Resident Evil 8. You gotta give me a real tall woman.
I think she'll be there for you all the time. It's going to be great, man. You're going to love it.
Outstanding. So you all know I love giant women. Do you love giant women out there, podcast listener? Let us know via the email, thirdshiftme@gmail.com, on the Twitter machine @thirdshiftme. Find us on Facebook under Third Shift. Don't just let us know if you like giant women. Did you play the Resident Evil 8 demo? Have you watched it? Was it scary? Was it effective? Did you not like it? Do you just want a fixed third-person camera, all that other jazz from the old days? Did Resident Evil go wrong by going first person? It's not even Resident Evil anymore. Let us know all that stuff.
There was zombies. It's vampires. Last time it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What's even happening in this freaking title? What's going on? Werewolves, everybody. Holy moly. I want to know your thoughts on it. I don't know how I came around, but I did. And I want to know if that's the same case for all you sucker faces out there. But until then, hey, you know what? While you're looking at that, while you're responding to what we want to know and what we're talking about, consider going over to Patreon, okay? Maybe just take a little looky-loo. Go, hey, you guys did great. And throw us $1, $2, $3, $5, $1,000, $1 million. It's still there, everybody. $1 million. You put $1 million in, we're opening up a food line. It's changing the whole world, I'm telling you. You could be the one.
Howard mentioned it. He said if he won the lottery, he was going to give us that $1 million and we would have to do it. So if you've won the lottery recently, if you're the person out in Novi who won the Mega Millions,
$970 million.
Yeah. Just throw one our way and you'll have a new food line to go to.
Yeah. And we're going to set up cameras so you'll actually be able to check out our progress and see how we're doing. We're going to have all sorts of fun at this food line. It's going to be a great store and a good time. Consider making our dreams come true. And if not, that's okay too. You know what? You just listening to this podcast, man, you did us a service. We feel really good. We feel really great. We're so glad you listened, had a good time. You can give us the mailbag questions. You can answer our return question in how was Resident Evil 8 demo. Anything like that would make us feel fantastic and have a good time with it. So consider it. All right, that's what I'm asking you.
And of course, you should consider listening to the very next episode, which will drop on the 4th of February. We'll finally be out of January. Now, I keep notes about the games I've been playing, so I know what to talk about on the What You Playing. I literally put week 5 because it's been like it's the 5th week of January. Literally, I'm looking at the calendar right now.
I know.
But next week, it will finally be February, and you can check out on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Podbean, on Spotify, and on YouTube. As I always say, if you like what we're doing and you'd like to help us out, please give us a like, a rating, review, a comment, a subscription, any kind of good thing on any one of those good services, because it does help us out, and we really do appreciate it. And you know what? If you're a giant woman, write us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Say, hey, I'm super tall. Matt gets 5 stars for appreciating my tallness and my big, giant, spiky nails. It's crazy.
I appreciate 8-foot women too, so we're both on board, all right? Just saying. So, you know what? Write us that review and say, I'm glad Third Shift appreciates 8-foot tall women.
And with that, there's nowhere else to go from there. There's nothing else to say, but don't forget to say.
Shut up and sit down.
We're discriminating against 4-foot tall women, man. That's what we're doing.
You know what? They just got to make a good horror movie about some very short woman. Not a
Short
kid.
woman.
Not a kid. I'm not afraid
No.
of kids. Just a short woman.